Jad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Would love to have you start out here, give an introduction of yourself and your background, and talking about what you're creating here, and then we'll go from there.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. Well, basically, I'm on Twitter, John Black Eye, officially Jad Komer. I'm the president of Millennium Capital, which is the asset management company who launched the first Bitcoin thematic ETF in Europe. And I started from Bitcoin and went straight to NFTs without going through any other crypto, because I couldn't find anyone that was convincing enough until I discovered the NFT space, which I found quite revolutionary. My take on crypto in general, and we can discuss it with your audience later eventually, is that most cryptos have a very very big regulatory issues that any regulator can come from the day to the other and shut them down, which is not the case in NFTs, and we'll go through that eventually a little bit later on. But basically, the idea is that I aped in. So with the sell-off of Terra Luna, and I'm building up this character, John Black Eye, that is basically building an NFT collection that has a utility. So, in my opinion, with this bear market and the current overall macro situation, the speculation part of cryptos in general will fade down and the use cases will start to emerge. And I believe that NFTs with practical utilities have a tremendous opportunity there, because at the end you have a real base on which you can hold on to. And our NFT collections utility will be around yachting, basically. So thanks to Bitcoin, basically I was able to buy my yacht. And what I did is I tokenized the yacht. So now the John Black Eye, the Bored Ape of the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, is the official owner of the yacht, basically. So if I send you tomorrow from my wallet my ape, you become also the owner of the yacht. And basically the NFT collection that we're launching is going to give access to.
Is he breaking up a little?
Go ahead.
Sorry, Jad, you're breaking up a little bit on mine. Is it just me?
Let me try another connection.
Sounds clear to me.
Okay, all right, all good then.
How is it now? Can you hear me better now? Am I still breaking now, or is it good?
Yeah, no. It must have been on my end. Apologies. You're all good.
No worries. No worries. So so I was saying that this NFT collection will give access to real utility, basically, which will be yachting experiences. And the background behind it is that as a yacht owner and a yacht fan, basically, I have studied the market for the past 5 years since I bought my yacht, and I was already chartering other yachts before. But there's a tremendous availability in the yachting industries of untapped yachts. Basically, today, every time you go into a marina, you find a lot of yachts that are just sitting there and nobody's using them. And the idea is to bring into the collection all yacht owners and all yacht fans, basically, that would like to get on board these yachts, basically. And the way to incentivize yacht owners to give their yacht to the community, and for the community to get access at minimum costs, basically, to these yachts is by combining through the offer and demand, basically, on a charity. So yacht owner will provide their community will provide our community with their yachts, and the community will auction these lots, and the proceeds will go to charity. This is a very unique model that is already possible in Web 2. Basically, I started the idea in Web 2, but in Web 3, it brings it much, much bigger and much, much stronger, because it allows us to bring it global, first of all. Second, it allows us also to put in a coin. So we're going to issue the yacht coin, which will be the currency of the community. And this will give a lot of advantages, because when you think about it, every yacht, when he's on the sea, he's a kind of independent country. When you go to international waters, as soon as you leave the shore, you become a country on your own, basically. And in the crypto space, they have always been looking for ways to find the jurisdictions that are friendly to cryptos, etc. And by creating this community with its own ecosystem and its own currency, we can then imagine very well expanding into a much bigger platform to other crypto projects and other crypto initiatives, because international waters allows you to do many, many, many things that jurisdictions don't allow you to do. So I believe this is a first step that is into leisure and fun, I would say, into accessing in my opinion, the ultimate luxury experience by minting our collection. But then it can go much, much beyond, because you can start creating on top of this community a lot of initiatives and a lot of projects through a yacht fleet, basically, that we're going to have on a global scale. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you have and get into. Don't want to take all the attention straight one. Just happy to answer Q&A or whatever questions you have about it.
Okay, perfect. So just to kind of summarize for those that may have come in a little bit late, we're discussing here with Jad Comer, who is the founder of the Board Yachts Club. He is also the captain and owner of Lady Amanda, which is a super yacht. And essentially, I was chatting with Jad, and he had found this kind of market niche where there's a lot of these super yachts that are owned by people, but they're kind of sitting around pretty often, right? They're not getting used every single week necessarily. There's a lot of them that could be getting used by more people. And then on the other side of things, there's a lot of people who would love to go out on yachts, right? We've seen that culture become a bigger piece over the last couple of years. There's people that are very interested, but they can't necessarily afford it, right? Sometimes these things can be six figures for a week, right? It can be really, really expensive. So what Jad is doing is, first off, he's already gone ahead and tokenized his yacht, making it the first tokenized super yacht out there. And a little bit of what he's creating with this NFT group is going to allow people to become part of the community, earn points or some rewards, which they're able to use alongside to hopefully get, I think, some better fees for these yachts. And then the real kicker is he's basically going to, work with his network and some of these other people to bring more yachts into the picture here, right? Work with other owners. And ultimately, the goal for this is a lot of these proceeds going to charity, right? So I'm assuming they're going to, take some of the money, obviously, for maintenance, for crews, whatever is needed. But a lot of the money, the goal here is a charity project, right? And so it's kind of something which has, I think, pretty clear, straightforward utility, but also a charitable aspect. So there's a couple pieces here. Jad, anything you want to add on to that, or should we take a couple of the questions? I see some hands up.
You summed it up very well. Congrats.
Perfect. Okay, let's go Drew first. NFT Drew, I saw your hand up.
I think I'll pass to Ashley first. I think she had her hand up.
Thanks, Drew. So basically, I had a couple of questions. The first one is
My
I was
sound being
curious.
weird? I just can't hear people today.
Oh, there's a Twitter bug.
I can't hear Ashley.
There's the Twitter bug where people can't hear each other.
Was she speaking, Drew?
Yeah, she
I
was
can hear
speaking.
Ashley.
All right. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. My sound's being a little weird, but yeah, if you heard her, go for it.
So if you can't hear people on Twitter, the only way to fix it is to leave and come back. It's a bug that they have right now in Spaces. Super annoying.
Wolf, can you hear Evil?
I cannot.
Oh no.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try pulling in maybe like my other phone or something so I can try to listen on both. But
Okay. Yeah, he said
yeah,
there's a Twitter bug where you have to leave in order to hear the people. Actually, I heard of that as well. So.
No. All right. Well, hopefully that doesn't affect us for too long. I don't know if you heard Ashley's question, but if you want to, or Evil's questions, if you want to direct those towards Jad.
Go ahead. Ashley didn't finish her question. She started, but she didn't finish.
Okay, go for it, Ashley.
So I had a couple of questions. One of them was like I was looking online for a yacht called the Lady Amanda just because I was curious, and I see one online that was crafted in 2006. It's like a
correct. That's the yacht we're talking about. This yacht now is the property of John Black Eye, the NFT, basically.
Okay. So with that one, I see that there's like 4 cabins with like 10 guests able to get on there. I was just curious, like, do people, is it kind of like a timeshare where people have to request in advance, or like, is there like certain priority given, and how many NFTs are going to be in the collection that will have to tokenize like different stays in the cabin, basically?
Yeah, that's a very good question. There is this yacht, basically, my yacht is the base on which we're gonna build the project. So you shouldn't look at it as I'm buying an NFT to access this yacht, but we're gonna build from this yacht a yacht fleet, and we're already in discussion with other ape owners that have yachts themselves and that they can offer it to the community. And I'm also talking with yacht brokers, so people who know a lot of yacht owners, to incentivize them to get their yachts into the club. And basically, we're gonna issue 8,200 NFTs. We're gonna have 3 categories. So you'll have like the flipper category, which will be a free NFT. And then you will have 2 other categories, which will be like a more exclusive access and a more payable access. And the idea is that the same way as with the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, you minted your ape at 0.08 ETH initially, and then the community, because they were very active and like the ape, they started trading. The royalties went to Yuga Labs, and then they were able to mint another mutant ape, and then they did the ape coin drop, and then now they raised money from A16Z to create a metaverse in which people will be able to use their ape. So it's the same process that we're following all along, but instead of being a metaverse, it's going to be a yachtverse in the sense that people will be able to access the yachts, basically. And the charity part is very unique because you have like the yachting industry is like a $10 billion industry, and you have a lot of these yachts, like any day, whether it's sunny, rainy, whatever, you have all these yachts sitting out there. And when they are out, They're out with rich old people. So I'm trying to do is democratize the access to these yachts. And yacht owners will not be willing to sell cheap their yachts because they're not going to be interested into ruining the reputation of the yachts, or like usually yacht owners, around 30 to 40% of every yacht of yachts out there are chartered. So to cover part of the cost, they rent their yachts, but they're not able to fill in all the availability. So they have a lot of availabilities that are sitting out there and nobody's chartering them because the supply is bigger than the demand. However, when the yacht owner doesn't have any client and the yacht is on the market and the proceeds could go to a charity, it changes completely. So you're not anymore selling your yacht for free or for very cheap. You're helping a charity of your choosing, by the way, so they can either send the money to the Yachting Dow Foundation or to a charity of their choosing. So this will allow a quite unique setup. So what you will be having is an NFT that will allow you to win or get yacht coins that will be redeemable into time on these yachts. And this is the whole project. This is how we're structuring it. I hope it answered your question.
Yeah, that it kind of raised a new question. I don't know if Drew, if you want to go first, I can hold my question. I don't know if you maybe have a similar question.
No, go ahead and ask. I got you.
Okay. I'm like I have a lot of passion for charity projects. Like that's kind of, my bread and butter. I just was curious, like like the only thing I didn't understand when you were talking is about the charity aspect. So like do like a portion of the sales go to charity, or is it only sometimes it goes to charity, or like how does that work?
No, all the sales go to charity, basically. So to give the idea generated because I was doing it for myself. So basically, you have I have my yacht that I was using. I was renting it, and when I didn't have any customer to rent it. I didn't want to use it. I have put it on auction for charity events. Okay. And at the end, I was able to help a charity of my choosing without having to pay them cash, basically. And that's the same idea as like all yacht owners will be able to bring their yacht to the community, and the proceeds will go after costs, etc., will go to a charity of their choosing, or to our community's charity, because the same as in Bored Ape Yacht Club, they have this charity. The ape coin basically is a charity. So all the ape coins are held by a Cayman charity, and there's a DAO, and they decide how to spend the coins of this charity, basically. And it's going to be the same. The community will decide the proceeds of these coins, where will they be spent and how will they be spent. So it's a quite unique opportunity. Today, any yacht owner, if he can auction a weekend on his yacht for a charity of his choosing also, he would be happy to do it, but there is no venue to do it. There is only one venue called Charity Buzz. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's more like around concert tickets, NBA seats, fill in a couple of empty seats left. They put these seats on charity and on auction, and the proceeds go to charity. It's the same thing here, but on a massive scale with all yacht owners everywhere.
I think what
Uh,
also John's kind of leaving out is most of these yacht owners, I would say like 90% that we've talked to have their own charity. So the way they're being incentivized is the tax benefits. They're actually saving money if they auction a week off or a weekend on their yacht. So there's enormous tax benefits, basically.
Okay,
yeah, it
so
definitely
each
goes both ways. Okay, Drew, did you still have your question, and then we can go to Mary Beth?
Yeah, I guess that kind of leads into my question a little bit here. I mean, first, if you want to say kudos, I always like, business owners or individuals using their IP for stuff like this. Like, I think that's super cool. Obviously, you have a kick-ass team, right? You got Drew on your team here, super badass person, especially in the Web3 space. And I guess the bigger question for me, and maybe the tax implications kind of did it for me, but one, why move this into Web3, right? I mean, you could do the tax benefits, you can do all this kind of stuff from a Web2 perspective, still utilizing your IP from Web3, because it seems like it's a very niche market for maybe high class individuals or other aspects. I mean, especially when we're talking about yachts here, right? And then other yacht owners, kind of jumping in here as well, because obviously there's a lot of maintenance costs, cleaning fees, even the gas itself, right? I mean, just given the macro and other aspects, and then two, where does the tokenomics come into play? I guess I mean, you have investors that are getting your NFT. The NFT has that, but I guess why tokenomics if all the sales go to charity, and then like what do they get with the tokens?
Yeah, it's a good question. There is like I said initially, the project started as a Web2 idea, and what I found very interesting in Web3 is that if you look at the Bored Ape Yacht Club history and how they evolved by paying close to zero or $100, now you have like coins, ape coins that are worth a lot. You have a mutant. You have also, you're going to have access to a game, basically. And the Web3, this is what it allows. It allows us to set up a community that's going to help us build up this project instead of being like a centralized company on which I would go and raise money and then deploy this strategy, basically. It will be more a community-driven project in a way that an NFT holder that has spent $0 minting his pass can potentially win a weekend on a super yacht, basically, if he's involved in the community, if he's helping us convincing other yachts, etc., etc. So, and this is for me like the strength of Web3 is you start having like 8,000 person helping you building this project instead of building a team of 5 or 6 or 10 to build the same project. And there is a kind of virtuous effect because the tokenomics also, we're going to follow the same tokenomics as the ape coin, basically, but it's going to be a yacht coin. So this will get into value. There's also a very sweet spot for yacht owners into accepting yacht coins for their charter independently of the charity part, because there are some tax benefits depending on the jurisdiction you're in, but also you have like a kind of, yacht owners basically, they are in the ultimate luxury selling experience. However, and I have experienced it, every time there's a client interested, is always like negotiating the price, etc. And you don't see that when you go to Tiffany or you go to any luxurious store. You don't get to the store and you negotiate the price. And for me, the yacht coin is also a potential way for the clients who want to charter their boat to give a discount without saying a discount, in the sense that if you pay me in yacht coin, you will get like X% less. And this also creates a kind of economics that is incentivizing to yacht owners in parallel with the charity. But my main goal is the charity because I think what I'm trying to do with the yacht coin is to build enough capital by all these yacht owners giving their yachts to the community and auctioning them for yacht coins. But once we have like a decent market cap, we can then launch projects that are oriented more towards sustainable sea living, basically. Because one of the main problematic of yachts is their carbon footprint. So although we offset the carbon footprint on our yacht, it's not like a long-term sustainable solution. And there are a lot of ways of reinventing the yachting industry, to which the foundation will also invest and develop projects with the help of the community. So Web3 takes it to the next level. I agree. It's not like a Web3 originated idea, but it's a Web2 that can go very, very far in Web3.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for that explanation too. And just real quick, just for clarification, you said the mint for the passes. You said that was a free mint, or?
We have 3 levels. We have one level that's going to be free, and 2 other levels that are going to be paid levels.
Okay, nice. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Drew. All right. I think we can go Mary Beth, and then we'll go Evil after that. Mary Beth?
Word. Thank you, Wolf. Mary Beth Salas here. So, hey, nice to meet you, Board Yachts Club, and Drew as well. I see Drew's on the team. I'm looking at the webpage. So I'm seeing, and I might have missed this, I'm seeing a couple of businesses here, right? I see the NFT project, the Board Yachts Club, and then I see Lady Amanda, Motor Yacht Lady Amanda. Is that correct? Whoever's on the team?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And then, so with the mint, whatever the level of mint you get, right? Actually, let me start backwards. So Lady Amanda is based out of Cannes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then so with the different tiers of NFTs for Board Yachts Club, then how much access does one get, if any, to that yacht? Because I'm doing the numbers in my head and I'm like, okay, cool. Does it even get me access to it? Do I get to visit it? Because obviously I'm assuming that it's going to be chartered, right? Because I know that it's like a couple million just to maintain each year. Then you pay the crew and, and everything else. So like I keep operating the numbers in my head on that side, and then just trying to see how the NFT side fits into it. Like, it's totally okay if this is, like more so like a crowdfunding thing. But I was just wondering, if that's the case, then are we able to enjoy the yacht as well? If so, how often, or is that kind of, a little bit being planned out in the roadmap?
Yes, it's a good question. There are going to be 3 levels of passes. So the free ones will give you access to the community, and once you're in the community, you're gonna be able to win your access to the yacht or to any other yacht in the yacht fleet that we're gonna build. But let's talk about Lady Amanda, because this is what we have now concrete. So you have.
Oh, and speaking of Lady Amanda, does that mean, are you eventually building a fleet of, like, is it going to be like a yacht club where you can maybe rent out it can be a smaller boat, like a center console or something, or a mega yacht, or anything in between?
We're gonna build a yacht fleet, basically, with other yacht owners, and we're already in discussion with other owners to join the collection. But this is like, Lady Amanda is the core, I would say, on which we're gonna showcase what we're doing and invite other yacht owners to bring their yachts. I'm seeing it more like as a global thing, rather than a localized Mediterranean-based club, basically. So we're building a decentralized yacht club. So to go back to the NFTs, so the NFTs will give you access to the community, and you're gonna win basically yacht coins, okay, by doing missions, your involvement, etc., raffles, all the traditional ways you see in the NFT space to win your way up to win your access basically to the yacht. And then you have some paid versions of we have 3 levels. We have the free level, and we have 2 other levels that are paid levels. And the paid levels will definitely give you like straight access to the yacht. We haven't yet disclosed like the levels, the amount, etc. We're gonna disclose them depending on the market conditions and the timing of the mint. Now, what we're looking is more into building the community. Then we're gonna launch the Discord, and then we're gonna launch the minting process. But definitely you can either win your way up to access the yacht, or pay your way to the yacht, basically. And by having an NFT with a base case utility or real access, I think it kind of gives it like a floor level, you know. So the ones that are free, so they cannot go lower than 0. But even the ones that you're gonna pay for are gonna set a minimum price, because even if they drop, anyone that wants to charter the yacht will be happy to buy them back from you and get on board. And we already have, like, Lady Amanda is the most chartered boat in the Mediterranean. We just finished the season now, and we had like it was fully booked all the summer season for like
How
5 months.
How much is it for a month or a 3-month tour?
The week on Lady Amanda is around $100,000 all in.
Okay, so 100,000 times 4, 400, about 400,000 a month times a few. So you break a mil, then okay, all right, cool.
The 100,000 is the boat rental and the fuel, basically. Yeah.
Right.
And the other costs that you have.
And that includes like crew and everything. So okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to go to other people. I'm just trying to figure out in my head. By the way, I think the foundation aspect is cool. But it doesn't do anything. I kind of like what Drew was saying. I would almost like make that a surprise thing if you actually do want to donate to certain nonprofits. Like, just make that like a little perk surprise, because at this point in Web3, a lot of people are a little skeptical of like, please don't promote that you're giving to a nonprofit unless you are a nonprofit yourself. Because if you're not a nonprofit yourself, that means we don't get the benefits of any types of donations. We don't get to see where it goes. We're leaving that to you, and you're the one getting the benefit out of it. So I definitely would consider, kind of making that more of a perk surprise. Like, hey, this is what we're doing, instead of using it to promote. Thank you.
Okay, really noted.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Evil.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. I'm just kind of curious. I thought when sort of we were starting out that it was more like the purpose of this, like the mission was more about kind of a charitable or philanthropic endeavor, which I think is great. I guess where I'm getting a little confused, and I'm not suggesting that that's not what you're trying to do. It just seems like there's a bunch of layers here that are kind of like misdirecting around that, in a sense, like unintentionally. What I'm wondering about is, so to Mary Beth's kind of line of questioning, like I know roughly how much it is to rent these things. It is very few people on the planet, frankly, that are going to be able to do that. You may get more uptake from corporate rentals, I suppose, right? But I'm kind of wondering, like, if the goal is to raise money in a charitable context, like why, like the residuals that you'd make off NFTs, the people that are buying the NFTs at the price points, like aren't you worried about kind of like misalignment there? You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's like, wouldn't it be easier just to say, hey, I'm donating or I'm auctioning off for charity some time on these yachts or my yacht. People can bid it up, and the people that can avail themselves of that have the financial net worth to even take advantage of something like that could. I understand the idea of offering that capability to somebody who may not be able to, but I mean, I don't know. I've never rented one. You're living in a stratosphere that I'm not privy to, but I can't imagine that I'd be able to do that without a bunch of I don't know, credit checks, background checks, collateral. Like, who knows, right? I'm guessing someone just doesn't hand me over the keys to a mega yacht, even if I show up with 100K. So I'm kind of wondering, how are you thinking about that? And I'm wondering, whether or not listen, I get it. I'm super bullish on Web3 tech. I mean, I don't want to mislead you in any way, right? But I'm just kind of wondering, whether or not this has gotten a little convoluted and sort of away from the purpose.
I see your. I understand your question. The pure charity part is definitely the core of the project. However, you're getting something. So it's like you're organizing an event where you're going to attend and you're going to have charity auctions. Like every year in Saint-Tropez, Leonardo DiCaprio organizes this big dinner and with a big concert, etc. And people come in, pay for the dinner, a tremendous amount, and the proceeds go to the charity. So it's the same thing, basically. You cannot say, okay, let's give to charity. You can do it like, okay, I want to build this charity and send me your donation. But if you only do a charity, you will not get as much donation as if you're organizing a concert, a dinner, etc. And here's the same: is like you're incentivizing people to give their yachts for charity, which they will be doing much more easier than asking them for money. And you are incentivizing people in a community, okay, to help build this yacht club and bring interest to come and auction these yachts during this charity. It's like when Leonardo DiCaprio organizes his concert, he has also agencies working for him to find guests that are willing to come to listen to him and to watch the concert of the band that he's invited, and to pay the hefty price of the ticket to attend this dinner. And here is the same, except that there is a yachting experience and the proceeds go to the charity. So it's not different and it's not unusual. Okay?
I take your point. Sorry.
Let me just finish. The only thing that this, you can do it in Web2 tomorrow. Okay, you can go organize a big gala in Miami, Florida, wherever you want, in New York even, and say, okay, we're doing this donation, and people can come in, auction for days on yachts, and yacht owner can come in and do it. But what Web3 allows you to do it is the potential to, with a community that is engaged, that is pushing, like if I want to auction tomorrow my yacht, okay, for a weekend to a charity, how do I do it? I have no venue to do it. Okay, I need to organize myself a huge event, organize all the people I know, and tell them, hey, this is my yacht, I'm going to auction it to this charity, which is a very cumbersome way. While building a community that helps you and promotes all these events in a decentralized way, basically, because we're going to have them all done in the Discord or online, etc., all the building process, you're going to be able to also give the opportunity for people who have paid literally zero to access these yachts. So this is where Web3 kind of makes it. The same as where by paying $100, you were able to get like all these PFPs from Bored Ape, and now you're gonna be able to play the game that they're gonna building, and it looks like it's going to be the most amazing game ever built. Okay, here is the same. You're gonna be able by just being active, promoting, exchanging about these ideas in the community and around you, to grow this project and have more yacht owners and get a bigger fleet than just the Lady Amanda boat, basically.
Also, I want to touch on basically the tokenomics will be kind of modeled after Bitcoin, as far as block rewards, where you're solving a math problem and you get rewarded Bitcoin from the miners. Instead of that, it will be if you do something for the community, if you contribute to the community, there'll be that will solve the block, and then you'll be rewarded the yacht coins. Regardless, though, 90% of these NFTs will be free. We want people to contribute to the community and be incentivized to like either bring in other yacht owners or just contribute to the community in some way. The paying will be a very small part of the passes, like the lowest count, and that would just be people who just want to pay for the yacht straight up.
So I think I didn't want to interrupt you, and I apologize for stepping on you there. I think what I'm kind of wondering is, like, again, to sort of step back, I have friends that put on charitable auctions, so I have some idea of how those mechanics work and how they get set up and so forth. And I take your point that as an individual owner of one of these yachts, it would be difficult or maybe a lot of work if you're not being approached by someone, to go find it, to go find an appropriate venue and maybe even suss out whether or not the organization that is choosing to raise money is legitimate and so on and so forth. However, it seems to me that when you are engaging in something like a charitable auction, right, first of all, the people that are donating are intentionally overpaying, right? Like when I go to a charitable auction, I might be purchasing let's say, a manicure and pedicure for my girlfriend, right? I know that the price of that thing is $300, but I'm paying $1,000, right? But I'm knowing that I'm way overpaying for the value, because the point is not that I'm getting a manicure or pedicure at a good deal. The point is that I'm trying to support whatever. And I also know that manicure and pedicure was largely donated and comped, by, let's say, the I don't know, whatever, the manicurist or whatever, for the benefit of this charity, right? Like that's like the loop. And I realize I'm not explaining anything to you that you don't necessarily already know. I'm simply saying that in doing that, the idea is that you're bidding this thing up like to a multiple, right? And yet when I think about kind of the NFT component here, free tier, whatever, the amount of money that you're going to raise off like a secondary as a percentage fee. I mean, these NFTs, presumably they're not guaranteeing me a charter, right? So like, I'm not going to pay $100,000 or $200,000 for it, nor am I likely to pay. In other words, like the percentage that you're making off a secondary is going to be super negligible relative to what you would earn at a charity auction in terms of bidding it up, right? So if the goal is to raise money for charity, it just seems to me like, yes, is there a market opportunity for someone to say, hey, yacht owners, I'm going to make it easy for you to find these auctions, or I'm going to make it easy for you to plug into a philanthropic network that can help raise money. But I guess I'm just not. It seems like this method is not going to generate that much money. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I think that at the beginning, it's going to be a venue to get cheap, not overpriced, but underpriced yachts, basically. So instead of paying 100,000, you're gonna maybe pay 10,000.
Yeah, but if your goal is to raise money for charity, right? Like, this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, is your goal to give me a good deal, or is your goal to raise the most money possible for charity? Because if your goal is to raise the most money for charity, then you want a multiple, not an undervalue of the asset. You want the asset to be way overvalued.
Yes and no, because today this asset is valued zero because it's sitting in the marina doing nothing. See what I mean? So, and I've lived it. Like I've chartered my yacht for charity, and it didn't go at twice the value. I understand when it's like a pen, and going from 100 to 1,000, it's not a big deal. But when it's in the thousands, then it becomes a big deal.
Wait, let me ask.
I think at the beginning, and I have thought this through thoroughly. I think at the beginning, the community will get cheap access to
Wait,
yachts.
sorry, can I ask you just a question? Because maybe I'm misunderstanding something, and I apologize if I got this wrong. Is the point of this endeavor to raise money for charity, or is the point of the endeavor to cover your costs?
Thank you.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just asking, right? Is like the point to give me access to your boat so that you can basically free roll the ownership of the yacht in exchange for, crowdsourcing its, maintenance and support and so forth.
If they said the second one, Evil Plan, I would actually feel more comfortable.
Yeah, no, it's not the second one. It's the first one.
Yeah, I want to pop in here too.
The boat is already chartered, is already on the market, and it's been chartered like anytime I don't want it. I have clients who wants to charter it. I don't have problems filling it if you want. It's one of the most successful chartered yachts. If I was struggling to find clients, then I would have maybe envisioned that. My point is that instead of chartering it, okay, and that's it, and covering my cost, and at the end, okay, well, where are we going there? Okay, I'm having fun. I have clients that cover my costs, and that's it. What I'm trying to do is to build something much bigger than just enjoying my yacht and having the cost paid by someone else. Is like to take this yacht as a base to build a big charity, and I will give these. I will give Amanda for this charity also. So, for example, one of the projects that we're looking to build is a yacht fest that we're going to organize during the Cannes Film Festival, and we're gathering a lot of yacht owners that will give access to their yacht during this yacht fest, and the proceeds will go to charity. So this is how I see it. Is like, and this is how I was using it in the past. Like, I was using it myself. I was renting it, and I was putting it on auction for charities. But instead of doing it myself, I want to do it in a much bigger project and give it a much bigger dimension.
I kind of have a question on that. It sounds like, the bigger thing you're trying to create here is the community with these 3 different levels of NFTs. I'm a little bit curious. It sounds like obviously there's rewards people can get by being an engaged part of the community. What does that look like? That system of like people being engaged. How do you kind of measure and determine that, and how do they go about, I guess, then earning those rewards? And like ultimately, like I guess like your vision, like what does this look like in a year? Like what does this community look like?
So that's the thing about tokenomics that Drew mentioned, is that you can, we're going to give missions to the community and reward them with yacht coins. There will be raffles, there will be like concrete measures. And then 1 year from now, basically, the whole tokenomics part is going to kick in very strongly, because normally the price of the yacht coin is similar to because it's limited in supply, and because it is redeemable in a valuable timeshare, basically, whether it's enough to get you access on a week on the yacht, or to be equivalent to $100,000 or even less, I don't know, but because it is redeemable into real life experiences, it cannot go to zero, contrary to so many NFTs out there and so many coins out there. So we will issue coins, and we will define like how many coins you need to access this and that on our yacht, but then on the other yachts, because we're gonna have a yacht fleet, and then the community will work on either working their way out, buying their way to the yacht. They will definitely pay less than calling the yacht owner and getting the yacht to rent. That's like 100% sure. Otherwise, the project doesn't make sense. And what's for sure also is that it cannot go to zero because it has real life value.
Okay, thank you, Jad. All right, I wanted to hit the utility company. I appreciate your patience. I know you've had your hand for a while.
Yeah, thank you for having me up here. Amazing questions. Really interesting project, Board Yachts Club. I kind of wanted to go back to what Evil Plan was kind of mentioning, like the liability portion of your project. Like, let's say, I'm in it. I have an NFT. I want to get, I want to charter your yacht. What type of liability do I have to cover on my end, and what is the process? Where is that mitigated? Is it at the smart level? The smart contract level, or is there another process later that involves some KYC?
Not sure I understand what you mean by liability.
Like if I get a low cost charter, how if something happens on the boat, right? If something's damaged or something, how do I insure myself against that, or what type of protection? Like, is that linked to my wallet? Do I need to put up a certain amount of, like, let's say maybe wrapped Ethereum or something? How would that work?
No, that's in the yachting industry, in the yachting charters industry, there are a specific format of contract that everybody uses, and basically this type of charters. So you won't have any liability, and you won't have. For the time being, we haven't discussed having any smart contract liability or stuff like that. But it's like in real life, wherever you go, even if you don't have anything and you break something on the street, you are liable. So unless you have done it on purpose, if it's by accident, it's covered by the insurance. If it's on purpose, the same. So I don't see the liability as an issue because it's already covered by the existing chartering business.
I know what his question is. It's, when I go on your boat and I've earned my way there, do I KYC with you or straight through the company, right? Because anyone can get the NFTs, right? But just like car clubs that are on the blockchain, you can get all the NFTs you want. You can even be 12 and get them 12 years old, but you actually have to have certain qualifications in order to execute the usage of the utility, right? So like where's the KYC process?
Thank you, Mary, for clearing that up. Sorry, it's an early morning for me.
I'm not sure about this, Drew. Maybe you can address it. I don't see a KYC as an issue there. It's like a concert ticket. Do you have a KYC there? I'm not sure. It's just like the
How do you
Bored Ape
then
Fest.
how do you know they're not going to be like criminals going on your yacht to like that's just a really flat negative way to put it, but it's just where do we KYC?
You don't. I don't see why you need to KYC. It's like concert tickets or Ape Fest. I don't think they did KYC.
The boat has a full-time crew, so you won't have to worry about obviously driving the boat or anything like that. Everything will be taken care of as far as moving the boat, and you basically just go there to enjoy.
Usually, when clients come on board, what they need to show is just their passport, and that's it, basically.
So essentially, your project is then taking on the liability. They are being the forefront, like the front person for your NFT holder who gets access to the ship, right, to the yacht. So, is that the main objective here, to maintain an infrastructure to for any possible liabilities that may occur from chartering these yachts out?
Correct. It's the company, basically, not myself, but basically the company is behind it, which is Vitamin C Limited.
All right, I'm down to party then with
Okay.
Evil Plan and Utility.
All right, we're partying. Okay, we just have about a minute or two left. Real quick, Jet, first off, if people want to find more information on this, obviously they can go ahead and follow this account, your John Black Eye NFT account. So I know we have a bunch of people in the audience. If you want to go ahead and first off, of course, drop my awesome speakers a follow. And then, of course, our wonderful co-host who's up here, Drew, and the John Black Eye NFT account. That's how you're going to find more information here. And, of course, you can hop to their website, just boardyachts.club. We have that up there as well. So there's some good pieces around here. Jad, anything that we didn't hit on today that you think is important to cover?
No, I think we covered it all. There's a part that I mentioned at the beginning, and that I would like to conclude with is that beyond partying on yachts and enjoying this ultimate lifestyle, our ultimate goal is to take it even further into sustainable sea living, and this is something that is very dear to my heart. I think with rising sea levels, we're gonna end up in the next years in a water world type of living. So we need to start planning now these kind of living, and I think this project can kickstart this type of discussion.
Sweet. Hey, Bobby, I see your hand up. I'm sorry we never really got around. There was just a lot going on here, a lot of moving pieces.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, it was just a quick one. Yeah, I'm bullish on IRL utility projects. I'm working with Ector. They have an island. They're doing the same sort of tokenization of yachts too. So I'm all in on these kind of things. But so I'm just going to ask, the token holders, the NFT token holders, would be getting a yacht coin given to them, and would the liquidity pool for that coin come from the charter profits, or and then would that be given back to holders? Is that what it kind of is? And then the profits of that go to the charity, or and then what platform would you use to have that on? Is that because if that's a security, can it go on OpenSea, or would it have to be done?
I'm gonna pop in just because we're at 2, so my next space is starting.
Oh,
But
my
would it be
apologies.
possible to? No, it's all good. I love the question, but would it be possible maybe to just Jad, if you're able to DM him, or Drew, if you're able to DM on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, would love to get that covered.
Yeah,
But
would love
right
to
now,
talk.
okay, perfect. All right, so real quick, so I see Rising Sun's already up here, so we're going to move into our passive income space. I want to thank Jad, Drew, love the questions, Mary Beth, Evil, Bobby, other Drew, hopefully Ashley, of course. Hopefully we can get on a yacht shortly together, and we'll dig in a little bit more. We'll do some due diligence on the yacht. Jad, this was great. Keep us in the loop, man. Excited to see this keep rolling.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
I appreciate the questions.